Are you curious about the Ninja Creami, the ice cream maker of the moment, which makes ice cream in a radically new way? Couldn't get my head around how it worked, so I went out and bought one to review for you guys. This is not just any review where I've pulled it out of the box, used it for 5 minutes and then done a video about it. I've had it in use non-stop for the last month, which, yes, does mean I've had to eat a whole load of ice cream, but someone's got to make the sacrifices. So hello and welcome along. On this channel I review products for family and home, like appliances and big ticket purchases for the family. If you'd like to see more content like that, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notifications so you get more videos like this. So first of all, let's talk about what makes the Ninja Creami so completely different to any ice cream maker that's come before it. My current ice cream maker is a Magimix. I've had it for about 15 years. I'm aware that there are more modern versions of ice cream makers, but as an example, this is what does the magic on my Magimix. It's basically a large ice pack. You stick it in the freezer 24 hours before you want to make the ice cream. It freezes, and then you use this bowl in conjunction with the churner on the ice cream maker to gradually freeze your liquid as it churns so that you don't get ice crystals forming in it. And then you put it in the freezer to finish off, and the whole process takes about 48 hours. With the Ninja Creami, this is what does the hard work, and that is completely different to any ice cream maker that I've come across before. So what you do with this is you fill one of the containers with your liquid, whether that is a cream-based ice cream or a water-based or fruit juice-based sorbet, stick it straight into the freezer, and then 24 hours later, this blade attached to this lid does the hard work of churning the ice cream and removing the crystals. It's a completely different way of making ice cream, and it's also much quicker. So as you may have noticed on this ice cream maker, there are 6 different settings for making ice cream or chilled desserts. The first one is ice cream, and that is anything where you start with a cream base and you add some sugar and some fruit or flavourings to it. The second setting is sorbet, and that can be either where you make a syrup from water and sugar and add a flavouring to it, or it can be, and this is quite radical, as simple as opening a tin of canned fruit and putting that into the container and in the freezer. There's also a setting for light ice cream, which is anything that you make with a cream substitute, which is less calories. There's a smoothie bowl setting, and that's for making an ice cream type dessert, which is based on yogurt and fruit. For all you ice cream connoisseurs, you can also make gelato with the Ninja Creami. That's where you start with a custard type base, which you make with egg yolks on this hob, and then you strain it and create a liquid, which is much more high end. My kids loved the results of this, but I found the chocolate ice cream in particular was quite dense and clay-like, and I actually preferred the easier to make ice cream. And the final setting is for milkshakes. Now, people are struggling to get their head around this, because if you read the instructions in the instruction booklet, the first thing it tells you to do is go out and buy ice cream to make a milkshake. Of course, you don't have to do that. You can use ice cream that you've already made in the Ninja Creami. And I was very dismissive of this concept of making milkshakes, but we've had a couple of weeks of really hot weather, and milkshakes have turned into our go-to after-school treat. The kids love them. I would caution you and say we found that half quantities of the ingredients in the instruction booklet were absolutely fine for one milkshake. And also, because it's got the milk added to it, has the tendency to sort of overflow from the pot as it churns, so half quantities from that point of view are definitely an advantage as well. So you might be wondering, if you do the churning after you freeze the ice cream, then what do you do about things that you might normally include in ice cream, like say marshmallows or chocolate chips or sultanas? Well, they have come up with a solution to this. What you do is you churn the ice cream fresh out of the freezer as you would normally, add your so-called mix-ins, and then you put it back onto the machine and you blend it again using the mix-in option. It's a slightly less than perfect solution because it involves churning it twice, but the results are absolutely fine. Also on this machine is a respin option, and that is if you have churned the ice cream once, didn't finish the tub, put it back in the freezer and then want to give it another churn. To be honest, I have found that if you're making conventional ice cream, I haven't needed to use the respin option. It obviously goes harder and solid, but very much like any ice cream that you would buy from a supermarket or make in another kind of ice cream maker. So that respin option hasn't been used an awful lot for us. The one time you might need to use the respin option is if you're making sorbet. Because it's got a higher water content, it tends to form ice crystals more easily when you put it back in the freezer. So the respin is useful for that. You may have seen some comments online about sorbets being crumbly when you make them in this machine. That has been my experience, but there are ways to get around it. Either get the sorbet out of the freezer a couple of minutes before you blend it, or pop it into the microwave for about 20 seconds so it warms up slightly, or add a little bit of liquid, and that literally can be water. Either of those will mean that there is more liquid as it blends, and that will hold the sorbet together so it's not quite so crumbly. But I've got to say, there is nothing like sorbet out of this machine on a super hot day to cool you down. Whether it's crumbly or not, it's amazing. There's been a lot of talk about how noisy the Ninja Creami is. And yes, it does sound like an industrial coffee machine when you have it on. But I wanted to check just how loud it is compared to my old Magimix ice cream maker. And the interesting thing when I compared them on a decibel meter is they were broadly similar. But the real difference is that this will churn your ice cream in about 2 minutes flat, whereas the Magimix took a good 20 minutes to slowly churn and freeze the ice cream. So when you buy your Ninja Creami, you're going to have to make a decision about how many pots you want. We chose to upgrade from the standard number of pots to 5, and all 5 of those have been in use since we bought it a month ago. So at the moment we've got 4 of them in the freezer. I know you're probably curious to know what I've actually got in these pots, so I will tell you. This one is raspberry, this one's strawberry, that's a smoothie bowl, and that's a chocolate gelato. And we've got one free. And the reason I like to have one free at all times is in case I suddenly get inspired to make a new flavour, or more importantly, if I want to make milkshake, I need to have one of these free, because what you do is you take the scoops out of, say, the chocolate gelato, put them in there, put the milk in, put it into the jug and blend it, and then pour it into a cup and wash this up, and then you've got it ready to go. So 5 is a really good number to start with. I think I will probably end up possibly buying a couple more because I love having different flavours in the freezer. And you can buy non-original ones made by different manufacturers other than Ninja, and buy those on Amazon. I will drop a link to those in the description down below. I haven't tested them myself, but I have seen reviews saying that they are good, and obviously they're cheaper than buying them directly from Ninja. So things about this machine that are less than perfect. Well, first of all, you are tied into the tubs, whether you buy the Ninja ones or the ones from other manufacturers on Amazon. It is a little bit frustrating because if you make fantastic ice cream, which it really does do, and you want to give them as a gift, they will end up in one of these tubs, and then you have to try and reclaim the tub from the person that you gifted it to, or you have to kind of try and scrape it out and put it into a different container, which is also very awkward. Second thing that I don't love about this is the mix-in thing is slightly less than perfect. I mean, we've made some ice cream with some brilliant mix-ins, but it's a bit of a faff, and you tend to find that the ice cream tub is quite full, so putting mix-ins is a little bit difficult because there's not much room left in there. And, you know, my favourite 2 ice creams happen to be mint chocolate chip and rum and raisin, which both have mix-ins and are both a bit of a faff to do and easier to do in an old-style ice cream maker. So what do I love about this machine? Well, I've seen lots of people saying that the great thing about it is you can pretty much freeze anything, and they take like whole desserts from Tesco and shove them into one of these tubs and freeze it and then blend it. That's not what it's for. The beauty of this machine, in my opinion, is the fact that you can start with such pure raw ingredients and make amazing ice cream using like 2 or 3 ingredients rather than something you've bought from a shop. And my favourite ice creams have been things as simple as the strawberry ice cream, where you are literally blending cream and strawberries together and coming up with this beautiful, vibrant pink concoction, which tastes amazing. And top tip for that, by the way, add freeze-dried strawberries as a mix-in because they are just delicious and they add this lovely crunch to it. Another couple of ice creams which I've made with this, which have been amazing, are the dairy-free vanilla, which is actually made with coconut milk and is so simple to make, so delicious. And if you're thinking, oh, I don't like coconut, I tried it out on 3 friends who all hate coconut and loved this ice cream. So it doesn't taste of coconut really at all, but it is dairy free, which is great and easy to make. The other thing we've loved making in this, and I do have a video for this up there, is dog ice cream. Yes, I have a golden retriever who is now obsessed with dog ice cream. You make it using 3 simple ingredients. Watch the video and you will find out how. So the million-and-one question is, are we going to get rid of the old Magimix ice cream maker and keep the Ninja Creami? Well, I have to say I was slow to converting to this. Somebody asked me in the first week and I was like, yeah, I'm not really sure. But over the last month, I have grown to love this machine. I love its ease of use. I actually really love having small pots as well because it means you can have a variety of flavours. And I tended to make really big tubs of ice cream before, but instead we just have little pots and they run out quickly and we try something new. So yes, I'm a total convert and this will win over my old Magimix ice cream maker. Get one, you will not be disappointed. If you found this video helpful, I would really appreciate a like, and if you would like to join me on the journey as I review more products for family and home, I would love to have you along as a subscriber. Please hit the subscribe and the notification button down below. Thank you for watching.